Gather around. It's time for the show to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, this is...
Hey everyone, my name is Jason.
Hi friends, it's Desiree Josen.
All right, there were so many matches this year that were just too much.
So this won't be a shocker because we've had a handful of really awesome matches that we just can't stop talking about.
How many times have these guys fought? Like it's been quite a bit.
I've been saying this all year. They're just so great to watch. We saw the heel turn coming, and then when it happened, nice and bloody, both dramatic and beautiful.
You are now entering the ring with Chutes and Ladders podcast.
Chutes and Ladders Season 2 premiere Royal Rumble surprise entrance countdown. What's going on, everyone? My name is Jason.
Hey friends, it's Desiree Josen.
It is the new year. This is the first episode of our Season 2 premiere. First off, Des, what do you think about that new intro?
I absolutely love it. I love the vintage and the game. So shout out to you, Jason, Brady, and WSN. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Listen, huge shout out to Brady Owens, the Bear, WSN. For all of our listeners out there, please subscribe to WSN. We are officially partnered with them. They've been such a huge help. They love wrestling. If you are a huge wrestling fan, trust me, anything wrestling related, you want to check them out. Rolling on to today's episode, we're actually going to do a countdown for the greatest Royal Rumble surprise entrance of all time. What's really cool about this particular episode, every year it seems to be a staple now. Fans like us, we like to see and try to guess who's going to be the surprise entrance this year. Des, what are your initial thoughts on your countdown and just about this episode?
I love it because it is the most wonderful time of the year. It is Rumble season. It is my favorite PLE ever. There is just something about counting down. You don't know who's going to come out, and then they just haul ass down to the ring and just so ready to knock everyone off that top rope. I am so excited to, go back to the past and see what's on your list. So this will be fun.
Absolutely. Like always, we have not seen each other's list. I'm sure there's going to be some overlap because there were some entrants that are just way too historic. The other cool thing about this particular episode, some of the people on our list will more than likely appear on this upcoming episode of Raw, which is going to be epic.
We shall see.
All right. That being said, give us an honorable mention. Who's your honorable mention on this countdown?
Okay, this one is a fun one. And I don't know if you could count it as a surprise entry. You know what it is. It's fun. It's memorable and iconic. It's from 1998. It's when Mick Foley came out as not only Cactus Jack, bang bang, and then Mankind, and then Dude Love. Who could not forget that? That was hilarious. It was just perfect execution. And, who doesn't love a good Mick Foley moment?
And I'm just absolutely laughing because that was my honorable mention. And I put that as my honorable mention. Specifically because it's kind of cheating, but hey, you know what? We're allowed to do that. And also, yeah, it was absolutely brilliant from it was brilliant creatively. So hats off to them. And it was just a lot of fun. So yeah, that was my honorable mention. Okay, then.
What are the odds?
Of course. All right. Who is your number 5?
Okay, this one, I'm going to just lay it out there. This top 5 was very hard because I love Rumble so much. I could do a top 50 and still not be satisfied, but I had to break it down. So, and I'm going from a mix of me as a fan as well as pop of the crowd and just storyline purposes. So I'm going with the return of Brock Lesnar, number 30 in Royal Rumble 2022.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. So, yeah, and that was it was really cool. What surprised me about that is I specifically remember that was in St. Louis. I thought Randy Orton was actually going to win, and then lo and behold, Brock comes out. They set it up for champion versus champion. So that's actually a very good selection.
And that's the thing too. That was the first thing that was on my notes here. I was like, he went right after Randy, and we really thought he was going to get that one, and then he took him out, and then even took out Drew McIntyre, who took him out, previously or before that. So, it was great. Who loves Brock? Everybody.
Absolutely. And they actually set that storyline right as far as the champion versus champion. So very good choice. Okay. The criteria that you actually just listed as far as pop of the crowd and as far as impact on storyline, I'm all about. However, this one is a personal choice. Reason why, a very good friend of mine, Brittany Page, who's Diamond Dallas Page's daughter, actually just shot me over a text in 2015 saying, "Hey, are you by any chance are you watching?" And I was like, you know I'm watching. And I was like, what's going on? Next thing I know, about 5 minutes later, you hear the DDP entrance song. So DDP is my number 5 on this list. What's actually really cool about this, if anyone follows DDP Yoga or my girl Britt, they're changing lives. And what's really cool about this is, DDP, before he got into shape, with the whole yoga thing, he was doing it extra hard as part of his training, and he's had such an impact on so many different wrestlers. I just thought that was such a cool thing for him to return after all those years. So my number 5 is bang, DDP.
Fantastic choice. I love DDP, and of course the beautiful Britt Page. What can we say about that? And when you hear it's me, it's DDP, who doesn't go crazy?
Exactly. Absolutely. Listen, we love you so much for what you guys do, and thank you so much for impacting so many people positively. All right, that being said, who's your number 4?
It's going to be, I'm still debating on how I'm going to do it, but okay, Trish Stratus.
Okay.
It was also number 30 in 2018 for the Women's Rumble. It's, she's an icon. She's a Hall of Famer. She still has it. And, I would love to stand face to face with her and have her bulldog me. So
that's awesome. That's really cool. And kind of to your point, listen, for a while, she was the staple of the women's division. So it was really cool that she made that return.
Yeah. What about you?
All right. My number 4, this actually had a huge impact, not just on the Royal Rumble, but he actually ended up headlining Mania, Chris Jericho in 2013.
Whoa!
Yeah. No, and the reason why this is so important is I specifically remember that so upon doing some research, he actually lasted longer than anyone in that Rumble. It was definitely a surprise because I know he ended up touring with Fozzy. Some people thought he was sort of checked out. Some people thought he was basically semi-retired, but he comes out, lasts that long, and ends up, I'm pretty sure, he ended up finishing number 2. So, that was just kind of a wild one. And he ended up losing to CM Punk, but he technically still fought for the title.
Yeah. Nice.
All right, cool. So let's hear it. Who's your number 3?
All right, this is just for me. This is not for fan purposes. It is because I'm a huge Big Sexy fan. It's Kevin Nash, who came out back as Diesel in 2011. When you hear that truck horn and you hear his music come on and he came out and put that glove on, I was, let's go. Let's go. And that's the nostalgic part of it. That's the 90s kid, the, Click and NWO and me. So I love it. I still watch it to this day just because the crowd pops, and it's just, I'm jealous. I wish I was there.
I was very, very, very close to putting that for everything you just said. The other cool thing, too, is the fact that they brought him out specifically as Devil, not necessarily Kevin Nash. So they went super retro. When Diesel left for WCW, I was just heartbroken. Obviously, he went on to become Kevin Nash and NWO, and that kind of etched itself in history. But I was so heartbroken. But for him to come back, to your point, nostalgia definitely ruled that day.
Yeah.
All right, my number 3, and this was I went back and forth because again, Kevin Nash and this countdown in general was just really tough. But he ended up having a significant impact for years to come. he turned down a lot of offers from WWE. So when he appeared, I mean, talk about just a rumble, no pun intended. AJ Styles in 2016, I was definitely surprised, and he immediately became main eventer. So I thought that was absolutely brilliant. They kind of kept it hush. So that was actually by far one of the biggest surprises of any Royal Rumble entrant, that's for sure.
I remember that reaction because everyone was kind of quiet and still because they're like, we know this music, but we don't. And it was kind of like that moment of, is it him? And then he comes out and he flips over his hood and everyone goes wild. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I had to put that on there, but listen, Kevin Nash Diesel, you were very close to put on this list, but this countdown is really, really tough to your point. All right, so we have 2 left. I'm very curious to see if our 2 are the same. Who's your number 2?
Well, you think you know him, but it's going to be Edge's return in 2020 after a 9-year hiatus. Really, we thought he was done just due to his neck injury. And then little whispers came. And, he came in as number 21 and just wreaked havoc. And I tell you, just even watching it on TV, you can feel the power of the crowd when they hear that. And he just stands and takes in the moment. And what do you know? That next year, he wins Rumble. So, I mean, come on now. That was a huge entrance.
So we predict that we were going to have overlap. Yes, this was my number 2 as well. And he was so close to being number 1 to everything you just said. I remember when he retired from, a couple days after that Mania, after being Del Rio, and it was such an emotional thing, and a lot of people were crushed, and it was legit because there was no purpose for him to even win that match if he was just going to retire. And I remember watching like a WWE documentary, and he said, "Look, if I never step foot in another wrestling ring again, I'll be at complete peace with it." So I thought he was done. I think everyone did too. I think he himself thought that too. So, and I've never heard, that was by far one of the loudest pops I've ever heard because everyone was in shock. So hats off to creative for keeping that secret and just unleashing a legit just legend.
That was a huge surprise. And that's the thing too, is when he officially retired years ago, he had a good 20-year run. So we're like, we're okay with it. We've accepted it. He sacrificed his body enough. And now he comes back and he's still back. So Edge, we love you.
Absolutely. All right. That being said, there's only 1 spot left. Who you got?
I think we might have the same one. Yeah, and we're going to celebrate him this year too. It's John Cena. And specifically, it's that 2008 entrance, number 30, and the crowd goes wild as always, and he just comes in being him, and he immediately takes out Mark Henry and then goes head to head for Triple H. And what I love, it's the Triple H reaction where he's like, oh shit, he's here. So, and everyone knows what's gonna happen. So yeah.
100%. That's my number 1. The main reason why I had him edge pun intended, is because this is going to be his farewell tour. I just thought that was so cool. Here's the other thing too. Remember, he's from Boston. That was in Madison Square Garden. And for a New York crowd to love on the Boston guy like that is not common. So, and yeah, to your point, listen, he had that showdown. Obviously, he wins it, which is brilliant. But listen, again, hats off to creative for kind of keeping that on the hush. He was out for 6 months. So for them to kind of keep it under wraps and then have him win in, main event Mania, that was definitely special.
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay. So that being said, what are your final thoughts? Is there anyone on this list that we're going to see on this epic Raw? Obviously Cena's one of them, but is there anybody else?
It would be really cool. We mentioned it in the previous predictions episode for Raw on Netflix, Brock Lesnar. That is, I think, a very high possibility. It would be cool to see some, my dream is to bring back some Attitude Era guys. So Kevin Nash, would you like to show your face for me, please? Maybe. Maybe some Shawn Michaels. But I could see Trish potentially coming. We might see some familiar faces and some newer faces that we haven't seen for a while. So a Becky Lynch, a Charlotte Flair would be nice.
Sure. Absolutely. Everyone you just said, bring back the Click, bring back some of these Attitude Era guys. Listen, bring back AJ Styles for the night. Why not? Who knows what will happen then? Yeah. And DDP, of course, because we do love you. So we would love for you to come back too. But yeah, no, listen, what's really cool about this particular episode is going to coincide kind of very, very in line with potentially what's going to happen on Raw. There's going to be some surprise entrants on Raw. And also keep in mind, this is officially Rumble season. And to your point, this is the greatest time of the year, especially for all wrestling fans.
Yeah, I'm so happy. We're just getting closer and closer to Mania.
Absolutely. All right. That actually wraps up season 2 premiere. What are your thoughts? Who are your greatest surprise entrants? Please DM us at the Chutes and Ladders. Like always, please like, share, and subscribe both on YouTube and Spotify. Once again, my name is Jason.
I'm Desiree Josen.
Okay, until next time, have a blessed day and a blessed week.
Bye, friends.
Chutes and Ladders. Follow us for more content.